thinking about why social policy would be important, I think the thing that comes to mind for me right away, and it's something I believe in deep, is whether you're doing business with people. And I don't think you can separate the social aspect of a person and their needs, and they're diverse when you have a large number of people you employ, or even your coworkers, that they're people first, and social impacts affect people a number of different ways. And I started to talk about transportation and childcare issue. Social policy can be related to even the generation who's looking after aging parent. I think somewhere in the business community, in the context of business, the social need and our social connections, if they're not being looked after and there isn't a policy or at least a conversation driving the importance of it, the effects of not addressing the social issues do show up in the workplace, and they can have effect on business owners, and then you extrapolate that, or the totality of it, it does have economic impact. And so I think we need to start taking a look at it, because business is done in relationships, business is done through people, and really, if you think about it, we're all socially connected. So using that terminology, all those issues that are sometimes described as social issues, one way or another will find themselves into the workplace. And I think once we can start to reframe it, and maybe cause some of these conversations to get out of the silos, have some of the conversations not happen in isolation, that really, when you look at it on a much bigger scale, things that really do impact business that you think is just happening to you are at a social level, or at a higher level, where, items that connect us all. And so that's, I think, some of the importance for business. Sometimes people are not comfortable having it. Like a lot of things in life, it comes from a place of fear. And if I have to take on social issues, what's that going to do to my bottom line? If I have to take on social issues, is it going to be preferential treatment amongst my staff? What's it going to do to my HR practices? What are going to be impact there? I also think that if people don't know where to go to learn more about these issues and how they affect the workplace, and if you're not, you might want to reach out for some leadership, whether it comes from organizations like I described, the Surrey Board of Trade, or some real thought leaders in business owners or CEOs. If you don't have a good example around this, I think it can be hard to pursue as a business owner, and you just kind of go, not in my backyard, I don't know how to deal with it. And I think sometimes if it happens in small amounts in your business, these social issues, that's your context. It's just small, and you just manage it that way. But comfortable talking about it is really moves people to a place that we're not typically in open environments used to talking about those soft issues, those emotional issues. Somebody else is taking care of them. They don't necessarily have the language skills, or they're not even used to having that type of conversation with their business peers. It's a brave and courageous conversation for some people to do that. And I think they could be feared will be distracted from running a business or the core parts of their business. I think it's a simplified answer that to get people to sit up and pay attention, I think the starting point is be able to say to them, this is what's in it for you. And maybe talk about impacts, both positive and negative. And when people hear themselves in that conversation, potentially gains for them, but also impacts if they're not doing something about it, I think you start to get a more conscious audience around it, and having to talk about it again and making it part of the business conversation, and kind of creating some new language around it. It's a whole new awareness, and it's a real move from what I would say 1980s and 1990s business practices to kind of accepting that the two aren't separated anymore in today's business world. Successful businesses, I think, going into the future will have an eye on social issues, social policy, being aware of the impacts on the environment, and what's going on external from their business in their community, and then deciding how we can address those issues, provide solutions for those issues, or help our employees who are dealing with them. Be open-minded to it.